In an interview with the minister, he stood firm on the reasons why he decided to pull the bill back from the national legislature and what allows him to do so, even though the bill is already in the lawmaking process.
Because in terms of the process first and then the reasons, in terms of the process, it states in terms of the rules that the person who, and in this case is the Minister of Communications responsible to the bill, can pull the bill before the second reading. That bill hasn't gone for a second reading, so that is still within the legal framework. But most importantly for the rationale, right now we need a credible funding model for the SABC. The bill as it is does not answer, in my view, the question around, a sustainable funding model that will empower the SABC to be on the path of that financial sustainability and suitability that we need. And in addition to that, if you look at the written submissions that were provided to the bill, there's a lot of criticism in terms of the key components of the bill around the risks of editorial independence, around the risk of the appointments of the board, and those things I feel that are very important to refine the bill. But most importantly, we need to dedicate our energy towards that key funding model, and it is for those reasons that in exercising my duties as the minister, I've then withdrawn the bill.
A few days later, it was revealed during a post-cabinet media briefing that Malatsi was wrong to withdraw the bill without cabinet approval.
The SABC bill is not a bill of, is not a private member's bill. It's not Minister Malatsi's bill. It's a bill of cabinet and the executive. So in terms of the law, he cannot withdraw it without coming to cabinet to agree for its withdrawal. That bill was submitted to cabinet after it was approved by cabinet. It was submitted to parliament after it was approved to cabinet. The cabinet secretariat and the leader of government's business will deal with that matter in the next cabinet meeting, because there's no minister, even myself, I can't withdraw any bill which has been approved by cabinet unless I've tabled a bill. Remember, they are private members' bill. Unless as Kumbuzo Nchabeni have tabled a bill. Whatever the limitations the minister may find in the bill, he must come and convince cabinet to say there are these limitations in the bill, and for this reason, this is the amendments I want to make in the bill, and therefore I'm requesting cabinet to concur with me to withdraw that bill.
When the National Assembly debated the budgetary review and recommendations report for the department and its entities, the withdrawal of the SABC bill continued to attract criticism from some MPs who sit on the portfolio committee.
The Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, led by an eager beaver, weaver, bird minister, Malatsi, has performed dismally. I refer to the minister as an eager beaver because of his short-sighted, sudden withdrawal of the SABC bill without reasons given to the portfolio committee, let alone the public.
The SAB troubles have not only worsened by a DA minister who appears to prioritize media influence and business interest over responsible governance. With a blatant disregard of due processes, the minister unilaterally withdrew the SAB bill without consulting the portfolio committee, undermining the essential restructuring process of the SABC, particularly in terms of securing sustainable funding model.
Deeper conversations need to take place with the portfolio committee regarding the minister's intention to withdraw the SABC bill. The ANC's position is very clear, and as mentioned by Minister Nchabeni, the bill, the SABC bill, is a cabinet bill. The minister cannot withdraw it. It is not a private member's bill. It must go back to the cabinet. It must get cabinet consent and discussion before it is withdrawn.
The TV license regime remains in place while the debate on a new funding model is taking place. However, amongst those who are not paying are some big business and some government institutions. The Communications Committee chairperson is scathing about the non-payment, saying the minister should put more energy into it.
But also our government is not serious. Our government is not serious because how do you have government departments owing the SABC more than 30 million rand in unpaid TV licenses? And this is something that we're seeing across government where they're not supporting one another. You have government departments who are pulling out of the post office, not wanting to support the post office. You have government departments who are not paying for their water, for their lights, for their TV licenses. And I think this is where the minister's attention should be focused. Let's look at the low-hanging fruit and get those resolved. Put 30 million into the bank account of the SABC by ensuring that his colleagues in cabinet direct their government departments to be able to pay for that. Similarly for local government, look at the businesses that are not paying their TV licenses and ensure that you go and you recoup that money, because really it is illegal not to pay a TV license because it's part of our legislative framework.
One of the civil society organizations that has been campaigning for the withdrawal of the bill was happy with the minister's decision.
The SOS Coalition welcomes the withdrawal of the SABC bill. We believe that this is a result of strong and sustained advocacy efforts by civil society organizations. As you would know, we have been calling for the bill to be withdrawn together with Media Monitoring Africa as well as the South African National Editors Forum. We've been calling for the bill to be withdrawn ever since it was introduced in Parliament back in 2023. SOS led a campaign, a comprehensive campaign calling for the bill to be withdrawn. That campaign was supported by 37 civil society organizations, of whom endorsed the view that the bill was flawed and needed to be withdrawn and redrafted for the benefit of the public broadcaster.
But another organization that also participated in the public hearings is worried about the further delays caused by the withdrawal of the bill.
Because on average it takes about 5 years for legislation to go from being developed by the department to being passed by Parliament and signed into law and implemented by the department. So this could have implications, and we're not dealing with an institution which is on a sound financial footing. SABC has been very fragile. A third of workers were changed over the past couple of years. Many workers who have been permanent were then told you're now self-employed. And there's been a real impact upon workers who didn't receive increases for some time. So our fear here is about how long are you going to delay resolving SABC's financial model.
Meanwhile, activists and Citizens Forum wants the minister to reconsider his decision of withdrawing the bill.
The withdrawal of the SABC bill by Minister Solly Malatsi, Minister of Communications, is nothing else but a show of power. This is another indication that this so-called government of national unity will not last very long. In this saga of the SABC bill, the minister and deputy minister differ in public. This is totally disgusting. This is a recipe for disaster at the SABC. We want to warn the Minister of Communications that nobody will use the SABC as a political football. SABC belongs to the public. It is a public broadcaster, and we will never allow anybody to play football with the SABC. We want the minister to reconsider his position and just amend what is missing at that bill, because it is very important to implement that bill.
One of the objects of the SABC bill is to repeal the Broadcasting Act and to continuously regulate the existence of the public broadcaster. The battle over the reinstatement versus the withdrawal of the SABC bill is expected to continue. The outcome of the next cabinet meeting is expected to shed some light about the future of the SABC bill. Mercedes Besent, SABC News, Parliament.